Okay. All right, and so I guess what I would be showing is like the line. So I'd be like going, you know, like you're like this, you're pulled over that way. Yeah. So if you can come over here and look through the middle of the body, you can see how the middle of his body is going on the outside to the left of his face. It's not straight down his face. So that means that he's been pulled over to the left. And you can see when you look at his balance, his hip, this area here, that's shifted over to your right. Can you see the gap between his forearm and his hip here compared to here? So this is showing us that this hip is shifted to the right. And then we know that as a result, because he's been pulled this way to his left, that we're going to have some sort of compression and rotation of the rib cage. And we can see here, do you see how the rib cage is flared a little bit more? So if it's all right, I'm going to just draw a line on you over there. So this is like a flaring of the rib cage over here. So we've got no tension in all of these muscles down here. There's no tension holding him down, okay? And then in this area here, right, we've got compression that is pulling him downwards, yeah? So it's pulling him this way. So his hips, they're going that way. You see, they're pulling to the right. And then his whole chest, you see that there? That's pulling over to the right. And then we'll probably notice, if you come to the side over here, what can we see? There, what can you see from the side? Okay, so then if we look at the hips from a side view, we can see that they're being pushed forward because the legs, they're not really holding the tension of the body, the hamstrings, all right? The hips are pushed forward like that. And then what we can see is this compensation. So where we'd want to see a line of balance would be through the ankle, through the hip, then through the middle of the shoulder, and then through the back of the ear. And so his whole body is shifted forward. So hips are forward. But now what we know is that if the head's forward and the hips are forward, what's going to happen with the middle of the body? And so we've got this massive curve. This is what we call kyphosis, yeah? And then we've got this curve down at the bottom. So it looks flat, but it's actually lordotic. We've actually got a lordotic curve over here. So we call this kypholordosis here. And then we can see there, look, there's no glute tension. And we know that they wouldn't be because the hips are pushed forward. So all of the weight is going down the front of his legs. It's all like in the quads and in the hips. And then if you want to come round to the front, then we can have a look at the head and where that's positioned. And can you see how like we're having to, like there would be, look, so if that was like the midline of the body, like going all the way up the body to there, right? You can see how, let's have a little look here. So we want that to come in all the way through the middle like that. And you see how as it goes up, the head is being pulled slightly to the right. And that's because of this tightness over in this shoulder on the right and in the left-hand side. And what side is it that you feel tightness when you feel it on that side as well? Yeah.
And a little bit there.
In there in the QL, yeah. And then what we'd like to do is if you bring your hands up over the top of your head, that's it, lovely. So if you hold that there, now you can see what we're talking about. See how this shift, the head is all coming. Sorry, I don't keep meaning to try. So you can see how the head is pulling this way. And that's because all of these muscles, they're so tight. And there's just this complete energy leak over here. So all of these muscles, they're pulling him down in that direction. They're going down like that. And his hips are shifting over here for him to make room.
You can feel it tightens through there too.
Yeah, and he can feel it in here. So these are all the muscles that are tight. And now you can see that he's creating even more lordosis in the lower back to create that space in his shoulders. And his whole body is being pulled over to the right, you see. So we know that he's going to have like tight traps. So if you want to turn around for me and face the wall, if that's all right. And right, so now what we can see, if we look from the back, is we've got... okay, so that's not coming out. Okay, so we have over here... Okay.